So today I'm going to be doing a baby name video. As you guys can probably tell outside, it is snowing like cats and dogs out there. I apologize, you can see the film light, but it has to be there. If you want to see the snow and outside the window and you don't want me to be a shadow, I've got to have it there. So sorry about that. I did my best. It's not very easy to set up things so that you guys can get the nice view outside, but I really wanted you guys to see how cool and snowy it was, especially for the sake of Vlogmas. Today I'm going to be doing the names we love but won't be using tag. Now some of these names I just love, and the reason why we won't be using it is because hubby doesn't love it. But yeah, without further ado, let's get started on boys' names. The first name I have on my list is Oliver, and I think there's pretty obvious reason why we won't be using Oliver. We already have an Olivia. It would be way too much of the same thing going on. I think that people would just think we have a weird obsession with olives in our family if we went with Oliver and Olivia. Next is Arden, and this is a nature name. It actually means great forest, and I can't use it because there already is an Arden in my family, and I'm really not for using the same names, especially when the people happen to be young. My aunt named her son that. Next is another forest meaning name, which is Silas, but it has a different pronunciation in Germany, which is Silas, and I like it, but I don't see myself using it, and I can't really explain why. Next up is Christopher, and I would really like to use this name. It holds really important meaning actually in our family. I don't think I ever shared this story actually, but hubby had a different name in the chat room when we met, and he said his name was Chris. So for a long time for me, maybe the course over an entire year, and also when we started talking on the phone, he said his name was Chris, and he didn't tell me what his actual name was until later. Now I think he just decided on like giving himself an American name in the chat just because, or at least a more neutral name in the chat, just because like other people wouldn't really understand the meaning of his name or even know how to say it. So I don't know, I guess that's why, in case you don't know, his name is Johannes. So which means actually, which in English is John, but to me to this day he still has like a Chris face, and my side of the family still calls him that, my friends still call him that, and I kind of call him that, especially when we visit home. But while we're here, I've pretty much just resorted to Babe, because it's not that I don't think he suits the name Johannes, it's just I got so used to calling him Chris for such a long time that it's just hard to call him by any other name. So it's kind of his fault actually, if you think about it. But yeah, I thought it would be really, really sweet if we had a son, and especially if the son looked like him, to name the baby Christopher. But we have a Christopher now in the family. I'm not into double names in the family, so there goes that idea, I guess. I mean, maybe if like the baby really looks like a Chris when it comes out, it will still be a Chris, but I have a feeling we won't use it. Last up is Adam, and the only reason we won't use this is because hubby just doesn't like it because of the first story in the Bible. He says, I'm sorry, every time I would hear the name Adam, I would just think random naked wandering dude. There's like a million other Adams out there. I don't know why he can only think of like naked dude from the Bible, but he just doesn't like it. Okay, on to girls' names, and the first one is Ophelia, and we're running kind of into the same pickle we had with Oliver. It's too similar to Olivia's name. It sounds too similar. It is too similar. Olivia, Ophelia, I feel like it would just be too confusing calling for the two of them. Just too much of the same thing, but I love this name. It's really such a shame that it wouldn't work out. Next is Ruby, and I started considering this name as a first name over the past year. Not actually, because, you know, obviously we already have a Ruby, but I mean, at the time, I never really considered Ruby as a first name, but I think that Leah would actually even make a good Ruby. Now thinking about it, as a matter of fact, that's like her other name when she's in a bad mood and when she starts getting really spunky. We like to joke around and say, uh-oh, Ruby's coming out. And I really like the name Ruby actually now as a first name. At the time I named Leah, I would have never considered it as a first name, but yeah, still really like that her name's Leah and not Ruby, but it's like, I think Ruby would be a cool name to use. Next up is Daisy, and my aunt actually just named her daughter that, and her daughter's only like 6 months old or something like that right now. But I guess it's kind of fair because I took her dream name for her daughter. The name she wanted to use for her daughter was Olivia, and she told me that when she came to visit. So now she's done it to me because I would really consider using the name Daisy. As a matter of fact, I've got like a D name theme kind of going for this baby. Like I've got so many D names that I really like. I don't know for sure that we'll use any, but I really like the idea of a D name this time. Next up is Marielle, and this is a very different name. One of the reasons I feel like it wouldn't work is just the spelling. I feel like so many people would like read Muriel, and I don't like that. It means like sea nymph or something like that. It's like a fairy tale kind of name. I think it's really pretty, but I don't really find it usable. Next is Esme, completely unusable in Germany. It is basically like saying eat me in German, so it doesn't work at all in Germany, but I do think it's really pretty in English-speaking countries. Next up is Lily. I love the name Lily, but I'm trying to kind of stick out of the top 20 list at least, and Lily's pretty popular just about everywhere. We even have a neighbor who lives next to us who has a daughter named Lily, and I'm kind of considering it more as a middle name, but you know, I don't know. I mean, I know Olivia and Leah are not necessarily uncommon names. Like, they're pretty popular. I know Olivia is super popular in the US, but here it's really not popular at all. I don't even think it's in the top 50. And Leah is pretty popular here, but we didn't know that until after we had named her. So it's just like, Leah's actually not that popular in the States, but super popular here. So I'm just kind of trying to stick out of the top 20 in both countries. We're gonna have to see how that goes though. The last name I have on my list is Melody. This is like a guilty pleasure name for me. I really like it a lot, but I don't really see us using it. I just don't really find it all that usable unless like this child comes out and just seems like some sort of singer of some sort, then maybe we would use it, but I don't know. I just think that it's kind of one of those guilty pleasure names more so. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it fun. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. Let me know which names you liked in the comments, and if you think that any of the names that I found unusable to be totally usable, because everybody has a different opinion. And I will see you guys in my next Vlogmas video, which will be up on Friday. Bye! I have found to be really useful is the jade yoni egg, but I did actually start a practice called yoni breathing a month before I conceived. I just thought, well, it's kind of nice probably to just really focus on clearing the energy in my womb space and just setting nice intentions for the area, and I did end up getting pregnant really fast.